welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we are starting our feed trial on the super simple budget aquarium, and also we're going to be taking a look at the Japanese top view Ranchu, see how they are doing because the weather is getting super cold now and they are really going into winter. I'm not giving them any food at the moment and I won't until probably the next 3, maybe 4 months, something like that. But in the first part of the video, we're gonna head over to the super simple budget aquarium. The fish have now been in for 48 hours. I'm gonna be showing you what I'm gonna be feeding them on this feed trial, and also we're gonna be taking some pictures so we can compare them from the beginning till the end. So let's head over to the kitchen and let's check them out. Now we are in the kitchen and we are in front of this super simple budget aquarium. Now in the beginning of this series you would have seen me set this tank up, and then obviously in the last episode we added the fish. So the fish have actually been in now for 48 hours and I want to talk to you a little bit about what I'm trying to do with them. Now obviously I've mentioned many times in the previous episodes, this is not their forever home. These fish are going to be within this tank for the next 3 to 6 months. I would guesstimate it's going to be around 3 to 4 months realistically. You may notice a few differences. I've actually stacked all of the sponge filters onto each other, so these fish have a lot more room to swim around in, and the sponges are all stacked in the back corner. Now these sponges are providing mechanical and biological filtration for these fish, but because the tank size and that is not a huge amount of filtration, I'm doing regular water changes, or I will be doing regular water changes because I'm going to be feeding these guys probably 2 or 3 times per day. You may also notice in the top corner there are no big bubbles and the tank is running quite a bit more quietly, and that's because I've actually modified the sponge filter and added an air stone to it. So there is an air stone at the bottom of the bottom sponge filter. That air rises all the way to the top of the water column, dragging in any dirt and debris that is within the water column onto those sponges, so I can remove that when cleaning the tank. So now the fish have got a little bit more space and obviously the tank is a little bit more quieter. I do have this acrylic lid. I don't think I really spoke about that in any of the previous videos. Just got a piece of, I think it's maybe 6mm acrylic or 8mm acrylic. Cut it down with a hacksaw to size, so that has reduced any evaporation and the noise a little bit. Now in this video I'm going to be holding each fish up to the glass so we can get a really good look at it before we start the feed trial. I'm also going to be taking pictures, so month by month, every 4 weeks I'm going to be taking a new picture of the fish and we can see how they've changed and developed. Now these fish are not going to grow massively or very quickly in this size of tank with this filtration. I would say if I wanted to really push these fish's growth on, I would keep them in a heated tank at about 24 to 25 degrees. I would probably keep these 3 fish in around 200-250 litres of water, and I would be changing 50% of the water 3 times per week to really get the maximum amount of growth out of them, and then I'd probably be feeding them 8 times per day. So I haven't got onto food just yet, but I did speak about it in the previous video, and I said I'm going to be feeding Hulk's food to these guys. So I was going to be feeding the Hulk's Super Red to see if it had any difference on the color enhancing capabilities of the fish. You can see I've just got some pellets there. Now this is actually a pack from the Goldfish Mega Tank, and in today's video Hulks has actually sent me some more food, so I'm actually going to be trying their better food. Now you may be thinking, why on earth are you using a fighting fish or a Siamese fighting fish food on this tank? Well, firstly you can see this pack is a lot smaller, and I'm really hoping over the next 3 or 4 months I will be able to feed this entire pack to these fish. So it'll be interesting to see how much weight we get on the fish with only 250 grams of food. The next thing is, you'll notice the pellet size is very small. We've got a really nice micro granule on this pellet, which is going to be great for these smaller fish and the palatability of the food. And then finally, to address the question, why am I feeding a beta fish food to these fish? Because that is ridiculous. Well, actually, these 2 different Super Red foods have exactly the same ingredients. I think there's a slight change in the ingredients, but they pretty much are identical in ingredients. This is just a smaller pellet size, so it's more suitable for enhancing the colors in betta fish. So I thought I'd give this a go. Let's see how it does. I'm just going to be feeding this food to these guys. No frozen food, no gel food, nothing else. So if they get any swim bladder issues, any buoyancy issues, we will know it's either down to my husbandry or the Hulk's food, or potentially the fish's genetics. So they are going to be eating all of this food hopefully over the next 3 to 4 months. That's enough of me waffling on. Let's check out the fish. Let's have a close video of each of the fish, and then we can get our photographs of them, and then we can obviously recap their growth in the next 4 weeks. First up, we have the tricolour Aranda. As you can see, this fish has really nice wen growth already. It's got really nice deep black or sumi to it, nice orange pattern, and also the white as well. Now we can see it's got all fins present, nice double anal fins as well. And here is a picture of the fish, nice and close zoomed in, so you can really see it. And I'm going to be using those pictures to compare the fish every 4 weeks. And I'm also going to be doing updates on Instagram very regularly on these fish in particular. Really nice fish overall, a little bit more compacted than the other 2 fish in the tank, but overall really unique, and it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Now on screen we can see the red cap Aranda. Now I really like this fish as it has really nice flowing fins. It's got really nice caudal fin, it's got double anal fins, a nice split down the tail, and overall the quality of the fish is very good. Now it's going to be interesting to see if the body catches up in size to those fins as well, because I would say the dorsal and the caudal fin are quite large in comparison to the body, but it's got really nice head growth and really good colour. Now last up is the tiger Aranda. This has actually now been named Lava Boy. I also need a couple of names for the other 2, but this one is now called Lava Boy. I would say the highest quality fish in the tank. Really nice body, not too long and also not too short at the same time. Really trying to evade my hands in the video. It's got nice overall balance of colour and a really good quality fish overall. So now we've taken a video of all 3 of the fish, and also I've put those pictures of each individual one on the screen. We can come back and recap that in 4 weeks, see if they've changed at all, maybe put any weight on at all as well. And now it's time to get our brand new Hulk's food open. So let's open the pack up and let's give these fish their first feeding of their new diet. So as you can see, now I'm just giving them a little bit of the Hulk's betta food, or betta food, however you'd like to pronounce it. I do have that lid on the tank that you may have seen in the previous video. I essentially just got a piece of acrylic, cut it to size, filed it down and made sure it just fit over the top of the tank. This just helps keep all the heat in the system and also stops a lot of the evaporation and moisture from collecting around the tank. You also see I have the sponge filters in a tall long line instead of having multiple ones on the bottom. This just reduces the amount of build-up on the bottom and allows the goldfish to have a little bit more space around the bottom. They are slowly getting used to the food, and since I have actually fed them again and they're getting much more confident with this food, and I'm really happy with them overall. It was great to see that the goldfish in the Super Simple Budget Aquarium enjoyed the new food from Hulk's. So now let's take a look outside and let's check up on the top view Ranchu, see how they're doing, see what the pond's looking like. I've had a couple of people ask me how are they doing, because I haven't actually documented them for ages now. And they're actually really cold going into winter, all sitting down on the bottom. But overall, they're looking really good. So let's head outside and let's check them out.
1 eternity later.
As you can see, the garden is really quite gloomy because we are really going into winter now and the daylight is reducing rapidly. You can see we've got the Ranchu all sitting down the bottom. Now their colours look absolutely vibrant and so vivid. The reds and whites are really standing out on these fish. You can see I've got the polycarbonate cover over the top. This just helps prevent a little bit less heat loss. The water lily is dying back slowly and I have to remove a few leaves out of the system. But overall the fish are doing fine. There's no problems with them. They're just really cold and that water temperature is really reducing right down. Overall it's nice to see that the lily survived this year and hopefully next year it will really bounce back and we'll get a lot more lily pads. The fish, as I mentioned, doing really well. The water is super clear now because as it is so cold, the algae is really not multiplying that much. The fish overall are just doing really well. Haven't fed them for, I would say, about 5 weeks now. They haven't had any food. Obviously, they can eat any algae within the system, and I'm probably not going to be feeding them until the end of March, maybe April time, but most likely the end of March when they're a little bit more active and the water temps are sort of above that 8 to 10 degree range. But overall, all doing really well, super healthy. Time for them to sort of hibernate now over winter. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the top view Ranchu outside. As I mentioned, they are really cold. The water is, I believe it's around 5 degrees now, so 6 degrees. So the water is getting really cold. But overall, they're looking really healthy. The colors are super vibrant. Fish in the Goldfish Mega Tank are doing really well, and you saw the pictures of the fish in the Super Simple Budget Aquarium. Cannot wait to get some good growth on those. As I probably previously mentioned, I'm going to be doing updates on those every single month. We can see how they change, grow, progress, pattern change, color change, etc. Maybe they will even just stay the same. So hopefully that's going to be an interesting project, working on that with the Hulk's food. But as I mentioned, that is it for today's video. If you've got any questions, leave those down below, or if you have any video suggestions, let me know down in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.